What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Thanks for joining us. Today we have my cousin Abdul. He is a controller for the Eastern Penitentiary. So let's sit down with him and see what he's got for us. What's going on, guys? Please join me in welcoming Abdul here. Abdul, how's it going?
What's up, man? How are you?
I'm doing all right. So yeah, let's start with tell a bit about your background. You know, where did you go to school? Where did you grow up? Things of that nature.
I grew up in Upper Darby. Went to Upper Darby High. From there, Keystone College. That's like up in Scranton, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Really small school. Majored in accounting, and then from then graduated in 2014. And then got into the accounting field.
Okay. What made you choose accounting?
Well, I was good with numbers.
Okay.
And I wanted to do sports management at first, and I was like, I don't really know what I'm going to do with this if I major in sports management. And I researched in-demand jobs at that time, and accounting was one of the fields that was in demand. So I was like, if I do major in accounting, I'll be guaranteed a job pretty much once I'm done college.
So in terms of going into college and going into accounting, what were the expectations for you specifically, if you don't mind sharing?
Well, let's backtrack a bit. I ran track in high school, so I wanted to run track in college.
Okay.
So when I was looking for schools, I was looking for the best fit for me in terms of track and academics.
Got you.
And Keystone was a school that provided that. They were really small, so I knew I'll be able to handle the small class sizes as well as be focused on running track.
Got you. So what is your current role?
So now I'm a controller for a nonprofit organization. I just started there about three months ago.
Okay. So I know you're in accounting, so I kind of want our viewers to understand what a controller is. So how many steps between a regular or junior accountant to a controller?
For me, I started as a entry-level staff accountant. So staff accountants are like pretty much the lowest level of accountants when you get an accounting job.
Right, like entry level basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
From there you can move up to a senior accountant type of role, and then from senior accountant type of role you can be an accounting manager or controller.
So is accounting manager and controller same or different?
Just depends how big of the organization it is. So at a really large organization there might be an accounting manager, and then it'll be the controller.
Okay.
Since I'm part of a really small company, there isn't a need for an accounting manager.
Got you. So it's like controller, and then you have your accountants under you, and then everybody else, I'm assuming?
Right. So that'll be the setup. Right now, due to the pandemic, I don't have any employees working for me.
Gotcha.
So I'm pretty much doing everything by myself, transitioning from the old controller that's there. She's handing me all of her work slowly, and then eventually when we go back to normal business practices, I'll have someone working for me.
Got you. What's the entry level for a controller?
You can be anywhere between like 70,000 to like 150,000.
Oh wow! So depending on how big the company is.
It could be even more. It just depends the type of organization it is, how big the organization is.
So from a controller, how far away is a CFO, or are you reporting to a CFO?
At my job, there isn't a CFO. I report to the president of the company.
Okay.
But at my previous job, there was a CFO. So my role was a senior accountant. I reported to the accounting manager. She reported to the controller, and controller reported to the CFO.
Okay, so technically, theoretically speaking, you would be right under the CFO.
Yeah.
Got you. So in terms of your day-to-day, how does that look for you?
So a controller is responsible for all aspects of the accounting department at an organization. So accounts payable, accounts receivable, and doing the financial statements.
Okay.
So my day to day, depending on what part of the month or week it is, for example, last week I did payroll.
Okay.
Everyone's on vacation, so am I, but I had to do payroll for the company. Next week when we go back on Monday, it'll probably be closing out the financials for 2020
Okay.
and December.
Got you. So when you say you're closing out financial for 2020, what does that mean?
Pretty much preparing like the financial statements. So your income statements, statements of cash flows, all that will go to the board.
Wow. So one of the things that I despise about colleges and school is that I felt that whatever I learned in school does not translate into real life. For you, it seems that everything that you learned actually did translate into what you're doing now. Would that be true?
Yeah, like in entry level accounting classes, they teach you about posting journal entries, what an income statement is, what a balance sheet is, the different types of accounting. So all that translates into what I do day to day.
On a typical day when you go into work, what are you doing?
So first thing I do is check my emails
Okay.
to see if there's any requests from different departmental managers, outside vendors, multiple different things. So I'm checking my emails to see if there's any urgent matters that I have to attend to. If not, then I go about my day depending on what it is. So on Monday when we go back to work, I'll have to catch up work for the past 2 weeks.
Okay. Wow.
So we're getting all the bills entered in our accounting system, making sure everyone's time's properly coded for 2020, making sure all the W-2s are properly coded. W-2s will include their salaries, the medical expenses, 401ks, any third party, sick leave, whatnot.
Good Lord. Okay.
So all that stuff will have to get done next week in order for people to receive their W-2s before the end of the month.
Wow. So as a controller, I'm assuming that every single financial either decisions or I guess approval or whatever, it comes through you for you to are you approving these things, or are you're just kind of like the person who's making sure it's getting it done correctly?
Both. Let's say a bill, we have to pay a certain vendor, that has to come from whoever is the point of contact for that vendor, whoever used that service or product.
Okay.
So they'll say, Abdul, this is approved to pay, make sure it gets paid. My job would be to make sure that's properly coded against the budget.
When you're presenting this stuff to the board, what do they do with this information?
They make strategic decisions.
Okay.
So based on whatever our financials look like, they may say expand businesses, like expand more for more revenue, or we need to cut back on things, make sure things are in align with the budget, because they're the ones who approve the yearly budget.
Okay.
It's just a control aspect of it.
Gotcha. Okay, so what do you think is your most enjoyable part of your job?
Well, now every day is different, so I really like that. So I'm not set to one thing.
So what do you dislike about being a controller, if there's one thing?
I would say that everyone's looking up to me for the answer. Like I said, like I might have a set schedule and doesn't really follow, just because everyone's like, hey, Abdul, I need help.
Right.
Abdul, we need to do this or that.
What happens when you don't know the answer?
I have to find the answer. So either it's a Google search or look at historical information, whatever it may be. There isn't a I don't know the answer. Like, I need to be able to provide some sort of answer.
Wow. I mean, that sounds rough, but is it bad as it sounds, or is it just like you kind of like put two and two together?
It's not rough. At times it can be stressful, especially like now, because it's the end of the year. So everything in terms of payroll, you have to make sure everything's properly done. So people's W-2 has to be right. We can't miss anything.
Right.
that means then you have to redo a W-2, then it's more work. So you got to make sure everything is done right to the exact.
Got you. If you were to give our viewers, if somebody's looking into this type of career field, any advice, what would that be?
If you're good with numbers, if you can pay attention to detail, have good time management skills, definitely look into the accounting field.
Okay, well, thank you, Abdul, for your time today. Really appreciate it. It's been a pleasure. And our viewers, I'm sure, will have questions for you. So please tune in and chime in if they do.
It's been a
If you
pleasure.
are interested in a specific career path or know someone who'd like to be interviewed, please email us at askalutely@gmail.com. That's basically absolutely without the BS. What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Thanks for joining me today.
Just go ahead.